Hi, I'm Doug, and I'm also going to be playing piano in a few minutes, and I don't have quite all the piano set up yet, but I think I have help here. I've first met Cy in 1970, and I was playing for a symphonic psychedelic rock band, and yeah, I was there, called Motherhood. And we were playing, I think it was at the Gardens or on the P&E or something like that. And I'm not too sure, it was either, I think it was for the Birds or 10 years after, we were opening for them. And Cy was mixing, doing sound. I didn't really meet him then, but after the show, he said, if you guys want to come back to Mushroom Studios, I can play the tape for you and maybe make a copy if you think it's something you want to have. So we were delighted, of course, to have our live performance recorded with excellent mics and gear and stuff like that. So we packed up afterwards and we went back to Mushroom and walked in, and Cy was not looking too good. He looked a little troubled, and he's kind of listening to this thing. And he said, I'm really sorry, guys, this didn't work out very good. And he played us what he had. And it sounded fantastic, except through the whole thing there was... It was an AC hum from the lighting systems. That wouldn't happen now, would it, Mark? We didn't know about stuff like that then. So we were disappointed. And I listened to people tonight, and they're talking about how Simon just never gave up. There's always one more thing, that he enjoyed the challenge. And he basically was in the business of making people's dreams come true. So here it is. That was 44 years ago. And I'm talking to him a couple of months ago, well, no less than that, and he was at home. And I was talking about coming over to visit him. I live in Nanaimo. And we get talking about different things, and he says, you know, Doug, remember that recording we did? I think it was after 10 years after or something like that. And there was that AC hum that was there. Yeah. We got the technology now that we could fix that. I think I know the guy that's got the tape. And no, I've worked for Cy with 44 years, and we started off in the 70s, and I did over 50 film scores with him, many CDs. He was in Metro Media, and I was doing The Rise and Fall of the City of Mahagoni by Kurt Weill, and yeah, Bertolt Brecht, and I think there's a few people. Holly Denny, you had something to do with that eventually. You're here, aren't you, Holly? Yeah. She just said hello. And it just went on and on and on. It got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then Lindsay Bourne, who's sitting over here, and I had the opportunity. We were commissioned by the National Capital Commission, who runs all the business at Ottawa in the buildings, to create a show that would run on Parliament Hill every night. I think it was from May to September or something like that, in French, in English. I think there was 57 production companies vying for this, trying to get in on it. And we put a little sketch together and some ideas. We talked about how this could be something special. They gave us an outline of what it wanted to be, and talked to Cy and said that we're doing this crazy project. This is the same one that Joelle was just talking about. And we actually were shortlisted, and then in the end we got the gig. And that turned out to be my most challenging project. Lindsay Bourne, thank you very much. Lindsay wrote all the stories that went with it, and I wrote all the music. But it was fun watching Cy go through this thing, because we talked about the beginning. We said, well, we'll get a little orchestra. We thought the idea of making it a symphony with the first movement, second movement, third movement. We're going to dedicate the overture to the First People. And then I got thinking, I wonder if the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra would be interested in getting in on this. So I called the general manager, and he said, yeah, we'd be really interested in doing this. And me as a composer, like, wow. First it was going to be a contract orchestra, and we're going to have maybe 16 people or something like that. Vancouver. So I phoned Cy. Whenever I phoned Cy about a project, he'd always go, "You got a budget?" And I say, "Yeah, how much?" And I'd tell him, "Yeah, I might be able to do that," that kind of thing. So this one comes along. It was a huge budget. I think the NAC gave the orchestra $25,000 to be a part of it or something like that. So it worked. It wasn't my $25,000, but it didn't matter. And as we did the production, we just started to get more crazy ideas. And Cy never collapsed. But next thing we knew, the symphony did not want to go to a studio to record. They wanted to do it in their own home, which was the Orpheum. And then they looked at the magnitude of 47 minutes of music, I think it was, and they said, well, we're going to have 2 conductors. Well, it's going to take 2 days to do this. We're going to rehearse in one day, and the next day we'll do the recording. And then Lindsay and I came along and said, we want the biggest symphony you'd ever heard in your life. And they had speakers set up the length of a football field in Parliament Buildings. And Charlie Knowles, who's right over here, was helping us with it. Phil Posner, are you here? I'm here. Yeah, he was in on this too. Phil was helping with a lot of production. And we wanted to figure out some way that we could have 8 speakers going right away across, not just stereo, but the first violins coming from those speakers, the seconds from over here, cellos over here, violas, basses, woodwinds, all that sort of stuff. And when you listen to it, it would be incredible. So they worked for a long time on trying to get this octagon sound working. That's what I was building up to. Charlie shows up one day and he's got this box with a joystick on it. He says, I made this, I got this working now, and these wires out all over the place. So it meant that you could take sections of the orchestra and go and move them around wherever you want. Well, what I'd like to be able to do is take single instruments out of the orchestra, like a flute, and I want it to come flying out of the orchestra and dance on top of the audience's head and go out that way. The native drums, we want them to start away over here, like they're going to be a block away from each other. They're going to come in, they're going to come right at you, and they're right on top of you. And so I go, I'll talk to Charlie. And then that would go on for a while. But each time it just got crazier and crazier and crazier, and it ended up being the greatest production I've ever been involved in. I never thought. So thank you, Lindsay, for that too. Joel said, okay, Doug, whatever you do when you get up there, don't talk too long. So I think I've gone over my 3 minutes. Is the piano working yet? Yes. It sure is. It's really, Mark.